am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. Welcome to I am LaMarsha Lewis commentary. Today is Tuesday, February the 9th, 2021. And if you have been like me, you basically have been glued to your TV. In fact, I still have my TV on. I just simply have it on mute because I wanted to come and do some commentary about the second impeachment of Donald J. Trump, who was the 45th president of the United States. As we all know, on January the 6th, 2021, Trump incited an insurrection. Our nation's capital was breached, something that had not happened since 1814. We had many domestic terrorists that stormed the nation's capital. On January the 6th, 2021, 5 people was killed in the results of the insurrection incited by the 45th president, Donald J. Trump. His second impeachment trial has begun because on January the 13th, 2021, the House of Representatives voted and impeached him for the second time. He is the only United States president to ever be impeached twice by the House of Representatives. Again, today, the Senate trial started. They're doing the attorneys and Senate managers have did their opening statement. We have Trump's attorneys now that's up speaking. That's why I decided to go ahead and come on and do some commentary, because I will most definitely be doing more commentary on this matter and will be following this Senate trial. I watched The View this morning, and I've seen on other people's blog, YouTube channels, where they have been saying they don't expect for the Senate to convict. And we are aware that there is a spineless Republican Senate, GOP, the Grand Old Party, basically have become that of the Trump cult. You have to call it for what it is. Just like what happened January the 6th, those were domestic terrorists. They were not patriots, as Ivanka Trump had tweeted out. Americans patriots be peaceful. They was never peaceful. They stormed the nation's capital. They broke out windows. They murdered a police officer. They was doing all types of things that did not show patrioticness, did not show anyone being peaceful. They were domestic terror. They went there with the purpose. They carried the purpose out. They was saying, stop the steal, hang Mike Pence. Where are they when they couldn't find the Senate? They went into the Senate chambers and actually just were going through the paperwork, the desk that was on the senators' podiums in the chamber. That was something they had no right to do. We don't know what type of information probably was stolen, or even just pictures being snapped from their cell phone and things. And we saw this. I'm gonna play the I think it's like 9 minutes and 57 seconds, the opening clip that the House manager did. Opening where they showed us where Trump was prior to when he had his rally to ignite the fire for them to go storm the nation's capital, as in using Trump's word, go fight like hell. If you don't, we won't have a country. Hoping, try to entice Mike Pence, hoping Mike Pence would do the right thing. Mike Pence did do the right thing because he was there to serve his role as vice president, the person that sits there to make sure the protocol is done in the manner in which it's supposed to, and that the senators and House and all of those congressmen and women do their job by certifying the results of we, the American people. That was Mike Pence's job. That was Mike Pence's role. Therefore, that is what Mike Pence did. He had no other authority. Although Donald J. Trump tried to coerce, entice Pence, as he enticed that mob mentality of those domestic terrorists, but Pence did not do as those domestic terrorists. Pence followed the law, the protocol, and did what he was supposed to do the certification of the electoral votes. Pence had no authority to do anything other than that. That is important to be noted, stated, in fact. Pence had no other authority. Donald J. Trump incited this insurrection. We need to be clear as day, clear as a crystal bell. Donald J. Trump, and I'll start saying Donald John Trump, incited this insurrection. Donald John Trump Sr., the 45th President of the United States, incited the insurrection that took place at our nation's capital January the 6th, 2021. January the 6th, 2021. And today, February the 9th, 2021, a month and 3 days later, here we are. And you still have spineless, cowardness, complicit, intentionally and willful. Intentionally and willful. It's important to make it known that these Republican senators, men and women, are intentionally letting this man who did this horrific moment in our nation, it cannot be erased. January the 6th, 2021, that cannot and will not ever be erased from our United States American history. It cannot. It will not. And for this man to not be held accountable by the United States senators, men and women that are elected officials from the United States, it's been reported that 56% of Americans believe that Trump should be convicted. 56%. So if you do 100 minus 50%, 56, that's the majority. And 58% say he should never hold office again. And I'm in complete agreement to that. He should be convicted and he should never, ever be allowed to hold any type of position in our United States, especially that of the president or any other official capacity. He should never. Donald J. Trump Sr. And also, I would add, no Trump should ever be able to have any type of official role in our United States. This is a corrupt family. They're vile and they're evil. They stood there and they watched. Ivanka stood there at her father's side and watched all those horrific moments that those domestic terrorists were doing. Then she even tweeted Americans' patriots. Donald J. Trump was there, Jr., Eric Trump and his wife, Kim, the girlfriend of Donald J. Trump Jr., they all were there. They helped be a part of the incitement. And when Trump finally, at that point in time, it was the president-elect Joe Biden who told him, you need to come out and speak to the American people. That's when he did the pre-recorded, the tape that was disclosed to us, the American people, to see him come out one time about, I understand your pain when you've been done wrong. Election has been stolen from you. He said, these are the quotes, we love you. That's what Donald J. Trump Sr., at that point in time, the 45th president, said to the people who were at our nation's capital, just gone crazy, that has sieged our nation's capital. He said, we love you. You are very special. Go home in peace. That's what he told those people. They should have been held accountable. None of them should have been allowed to just go freely home. They breached the nation's capital. People were killed. No sooner than they actually got in there and was inside of the nation's capital, and when they was right there at that door of the chambers, when one of those police from the inside actually shot where that lady, that's where the lady Ashley Bobbitt was killed, a very advocate of Trump, former military and all of this, but that's how she got killed. Then how they did the police officer. Again, I'm going to show the gruesomeness of this video, but it's just appalling. Then you still got people like Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz. I saw somewhere where they supposedly on the jury. I don't understand that. I saw where they voted to not have the trial, and they're using this despicable, don't make sense defense where he's no longer president. He's no longer president. Let's keep in mind, Mitch McConnell chose not to bring the Senate back prior to, after they had been dismissed, after they had did their electors, and before the inauguration. Mitch McConnell, at that time, who was the majority leader of the Senate, chose not to bring the senators back. The Republican Party made a choice, an intentional and willful choice, as they're doing right now, not to hold Donald J. Trump Sr. accountable. Donald J. Trump, the 45th president. They made a choice. And my thing is, what would you tell your children? What are you telling them now? I'm sure they got many that's of age and of understanding and can get their own perspective of what they have seen, heard, and learned. So what are you saying to your children? And as time goes on, what will you say to your children? Because the mark has been marked in history. Again, it cannot be covered up. It can't go away. It doesn't go away. It won't go away. Although that's what they're trying to do, because they have just said we should move, just go on, move forward, unity. But how do you get unity when there's been no accountability? How do you get unity when there's been no accountability? And the Republican Party, the GOP, and if you want to know what that means, look it up. I did. Grand Old Party. They don't want accountability. That's a difference. They don't want accountability. They refuse to hold Donald J. Trump, the 45th president, accountable for what he calls incited the insurrection that took place at our nation's capital by domestic terrorists at the command and incitement of Donald J. Trump. He said he was going to go with, although that was a lie, he allowed them to go down there and do what they did. And then he stood, like I say, and said that he loved them and told them that they were very special and to go home in peace. But you got Republican senators refusing, outright refusing. They were there. And as I saw that today, from what the senator manager was showing us, I saw the horrificness of it when it was playing out January the 6th. And of course, I've seen many videos since then. But what was shown today, I'm like, oh my God. How can anyone not want accountability? How can anyone not see that Trump needs to be convicted and never be able to hold any type of political official role in this country? I'm like, how do you sleep at night? And I assume you can still look in the mirror, but when you've been so vile and so evil for so long, it's who you are. That's who you are, Republicans. That's who you are. You have become the Trump cult. All because of the hatred that resides in your heart. Because see, Trump is a man of hate. He don't like to see black people, immigrants, although he's been married to 2 women, 2 of his wives, the first wife and the current wife, the third wife, they were immigrants. He has children, 3 of his oldest kids with the first wife, whose mom was an immigrant, but yet he hates them. The third wife, he has a son with. The third wife brought her parents here, and they now are United States citizens. But Donald J. Trump hates immigrants. He hates blacks. He hates anyone that stands up against him. If you love him, he loves you. But when you are like people like our now Vice President Kamala Harris, he loves her. Why? Because she's strong, she's intelligent, and she stands up to him. She don't bow down. And so many others like AOC, the squad. Maxine Waters, so many others. How, and again, women that you got like his now advocate, the woman that I now refuse to call her name because she's not worthy. She's just as vile, just as evil. But she's the woman that last week the House voted to take off of 2 committees. She was on the Education Committee and the Labor. She's from the state of Georgia, the 14th District. You know who she is. I refuse to say her name nor her initials because she's so vile and she's so evil. But she says, just in a video, she said, it's his party. She said, it's his party. It's not the Republican Party. It's Trump's party. It's his party. How can women be okay? One, he's cheated on all 3 wives. He's called, berated women, berated our people that have disability, berated the late Senator John McCain, who was a prisoner of war, former military. So many of you want to be so advocate, supposedly love the military, but you okay with how Trump has done, and that he's a cheater. Paid $130,000 to a porn star. And like I say, berates women, men, children, just like he did to the young girl that called him out, Greta. And you still got people that support. See, if you support him, you're now telling and showing us all more about the vileness and the evilness and the corruption of you as well. Because we know he is. It's a fact. He is who he is. But to not hold him accountable for that insurrection, like, how do you live with yourself? Honestly, earnestly, how do you live with yourself? The Bible speaks of when people have done wrong so long, they're changed over to a reprobated mind. So that's who you are. We know Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed for all their evilness and their corruptionness. But you have made the conscious choice. That what hurts. You made the conscious choice and you continue to stand on it. Not holding account. Because many are already saying, like I said, as I had started with the commentary when I said I watched the View today, I heard Sonny say, well, she don't look for the Senate to do a conviction. As I was saying, I've seen other YouTube channels, bloggers, hosts, and persons, people say they don't, where we know he's not going to be convicted. That saddens my heart. It breaks my heart. And I refuse to say that he won't be. Because, see, I trust God. That's who LaMarsha Lewis trusts. I have faith in God. At the end of the day, God still reigns. God is in control. And none of this is of God. Because God is a God of love. John 3:60, for God so loved the world, he sent his only begotten Son, that whosoever will believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. But the thing is, you have to believe and and accept him. It's not his will for no man to perish, although we know many will, many have, because one, you make your own choice and decision. And even if they get away with it here on earth, do know and trust and believe he will be held accountable by the man above. Like I said, God is in control. God has all power. I've seen him work. Because he did it with Joe Biden. See, many thought Donald J. Trump was going to get a second term. But God spoke. And we got Joe Biden. And he gave us, for the first time in our United States American history, a woman vice president. Not just a woman, but an African American with Indian descent. That type of woman. A Howard University graduate. AKA sorority. The first black African American sorority. that kind of woman. Previous attorney general, that kind of woman. Now the vice president, first black senator for the state of California, a woman. So see, I believe in God. I trust God. And it's my hope, it's my prayer that he will convict, because we can't afford for this to happen again. And if there isn't any accountability for this, can you imagine truly what we may get in the future? Because they're still kicking against the prick with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. You still got people out there talking about the election. He said that out there, and you got people that truly believe that we did not have a free and fair 2020 presidential election, although we did. And it's been stated and proven over numerous of time by many votes being recounted, and all of the officials saying it was a free, fair election. I just refuse to say Donald J. Trump, 45th president of the United States of America, who incited the insurrection January the 6th, 2021, will not be held accountable by the senators. He will get a conviction. He will not be able to hold the office as president or any other type of official role. I trust God. And if these men and women who are elected by we the people, because again, it's been stated that 56% said he should be convicted. 58 says he should never hold office again. So you can't come with that crap. The American people doesn't want him held accountable, or this is our interruption to the new administration. It's all about accountability. It doesn't matter he's no longer in office, because y'all allowed him to leave office when he should have been held accountable. Something of that horrificness, that magnitude, an insurrection, people's lives were lost. People have taken their lives since. People that's been said to lose, expected to lose an eye, broken ribs, and all of this. And again, this blood stain on our United States history that would never be gone away, can't go away, and y'all don't hold the person responsible accountable. What does that say about America? And I'm at this point, and I've said it before in some previous commentary, we need new, better leadership all around. That's from the president, vice president, from the senators, House of Representatives, because some of those people that's been in there, like Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, and prior to the late Senator John McCain getting sick and ill and passing away, he was there for a long, long time, decades. I mean, it's so many that have been there for decades, years and years. We need a term limit on everything. The president only gets a 2-term, 8 years. These senators and they need term limits. The Supreme Court justice, they should not be lifetime appointments. Everything needs to have some term limits so that there will be some accountability. After being in things of this magnitude where you get power, you get money, as we know, all of them are doing so much better than we, the American people. Their salaries, their health care is better than we, the American people, the poor, the struggling, the average American people. But they supposed to represent us, and they don't. They only represent their own egos, their own agendas. They need more accountability. They need to be held accountable. And we need new faces in there, because we're not in that same old mentality, although that's what the Republican Party is about. The old Confederatism. The old man, white man's way of mentality. Don't want blacks to succeed. Don't want blacks to hold power. Don't want immigrants to come into this country for a better life for themselves and their families. That is not, in my opinion, the American way, or at least it should not be. We need new people in leadership. We do. Because those that have been there so long and have gotten accustomed to doing what they want, how they want, as we saw how they did when we was in the 2020 presidential election. They had said that if a Supreme Court justice nominee come available, that they will not have a nomination or the hearing until after that new president had been elected, so that president can do the casting nomination for the new candidate. We saw that didn't happen. They rushed. They did the rush jam of Amy Coney Barrett. They proved how they are, but then they have the audacity to now talk about unity. They have no integrity. They do what they want, how they want, with the notion we will have no consequences, no accountability to what we done, because that's what we wanted to do, because we're the Republican Party. That's how they operate. And thus far, that's what they've been able to get away with. Again, they did the rush jam with Amy Coney Barrett. Put her on that Supreme Court even after the late Justice Ruth Bader Garner requested that the new president do the nomination for her. Then even honored the woman who had served for that long length that she was the Supreme Court justice. And then they put someone of their preference, the conservative value, on the court. Nowhere near what the late Justice Ruth said women should be in the room when decisions are being made. Amy Coney, this isn't about her, so I'm going to leave that there. It's about accountability, though. Truly. This, I had said I was going to play the video, but I will play, again, I will be doing more commentary, but this is imperative. Donald J. Trump, Sr., the 45th President of the United States, must be held accountable. I'm LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.